so glad everybody's here today. I'm Amy Lawrence. I own Gourmet Done Skinny, and I'll be doing more of these lives as time goes on, but this is my first big one with, I've done lives before, but this is my first big one with using all my new technology. So it's pretty cool. Let me just show you, make sure it all works. So you see me here, and then here's the overhead view, and we've got me in the little bubble, and so those are the views today. Pretty soon I'll be having a side angle view too, but I just decided not to do too much. Oh, and Judy, thank you so much. I'm glad you can hear the sound. All right, well, let's get started. So today we're going to be, let me put this on here for you. Today we're going to be making my green tomatillo salsa, and I'm also going to show you how to do a red salsa. Just basically, it's super easy to add a little bit to it to make it a little bit spicier. That's kind of what our family likes. And I'll be making the To Die For Guacamole. And then I'll also be making my spicy sour cream. So, and that one is not on the recipe, not on the website, so pay attention to this one. It will be on the website pretty soon, but it's not quite on there yet. All right, so let's put that over here, and let's get started. All right, we have, these are tomatillos, and they are, they're also called husk tomatoes. They look like this, and there's a nice little skin around them. They're a little hard to peel if you don't put them in water. So I soak them in water just for a little bit. You don't have to do too much. But this I've got them all ready to go for us. And I'll show you how we do it. And I did put the link to the recipe on the in the group to all the recipes actually, except for the spicy sour cream. So that way you know exactly where to go. We are in the middle of changing and updating our website, so if there are a few glitches in the next couple days, that's why. But it should be a lot faster when we get finished with everything. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do the tomatillos. You'd basically just peel the little husks off, just like this. Goes pretty fast, and I want to use about 2 pounds. Now you can use less. To tell you the truth, I don't really follow a recipe anymore. I just I don't know. I made this one kind of up after looking at a bunch of different ones, it's super easy. But if you don't want to, the best thing about this salsa, actually I forgot to get that out for you, is you can freeze it, which is wonderful. I freeze it in my little vacuum sealed packs, and it's just great. And anytime you need some quick salsa, I like it fresh better. Oh, this one's let me show you this one. This one's kind of a bad one, so obviously you wouldn't want to use this one. And I think I'm going to move this over so you can see just a little bit better. But anyway, you can definitely freeze them into packs, and they're great for, like in dips. They're great in, I'll even do like a cilantro pork pot where I put the salsa in there with pork tenderloin and a little bit of onion, and do it in the crock pot or the Instapot. And salsa is great to have on hand. So I like it fresh, obviously first, but it's nice to freeze it, and then you have a little bit on hand when you need it. And it also is great in my cilantro dressing. You can do lots of things with salsa. All right, so that is probably enough for now. I already did broil the tomatillos, so that way we don't have to spend all the time working on that. But what we're going to do is, let me move all this over, and hopefully, yep, it looks like it's pretty focused. And we're just going to lay them out on our cookie sheet just like this. So we'll do them real kind of fast. You want a good knife. I love this. This is a Santu rocking knife by Swilling. It's very nice. So a good knife goes a long ways. All right, let's see. Do we have any more comments? Nope, not yet. Okay, good. All right. I will try to make time and keep looking at comments, but sometimes I forget. So, all right, you kind of get the idea. So it goes pretty fast. Tomatillos are sweeter. They're slightly more acidic than tomatoes. And you can find them not in every grocery store. You can find them in the higher end grocery stores. The Mexican markets for sure. Winco actually has a great supply, although maybe not today or tomorrow, but they usually do. All right, so there's that. And then we're going to do a poblano pepper. These are mild, so you don't have to worry about them being too spicy. But feel free, if you want to spice things up, you can definitely do that. All right, and so we're going to take the pepper, and we're going to put that on our little cookie sheet or baking sheet. And then I've got some garlic. The garlic I actually like either way. I like it roasted in the oven. I also like it, you know, raw too. So, and the one thing that's great about this salsa, you don't cook it. When we are going to put it all together, it is kind of better, I think, if you if the tomatillos are warm. You don't want them hot, but if you want them a little warm, it kind of gels it up, kind of like makes it a lot thicker when it's a little warm. But it works either way if it's not warm. So we'll put those on there, and we will add a jalapeno. If you like jalapeno, then you can use the whole thing. If not, you can use half. Our family likes it pretty spicy, so I usually use the full jalapeno. And on the poblanos, you want to use 2 peppers for that. All right, so there's that. And hopefully I have all my little things right here. One of these days I'll have to show you the behind the scenes. It looks like I do have this wonderful, big, nice kitchen, but everything has to be pretty compact when I'm doing video. So, all right, so we've got that. And let's see what else. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Yep. Okay. So all of this will go in the broiler for about 8 minutes, and then when you take it out, I'll show you what it looks like. All right. So this is what it looks like when it's all finished, and you don't have to, but I just kind of try to peel the skin off just a little bit. These have been sitting. It's a lot easier to peel them when they come out of the oven. So, but if you don't get it all off, I just don't feel like it's a huge deal. I mean, I know some people do, but I don't feel like it is. So, all right. That's that. And later in the group, if you have any recipes that you want me to make on the live show, let me know and I will be happy to put those in. Okay, so that's good. Now what we're going to do is put it in our food processor. All right. Hopefully you can see all that. Okay. And we're going to take our roasted tomatillos and put it in here. And like I said, you don't want to do it when it's like burning hot, but you can do it when it's warm. That's fine. All right. Almost done. And if you want to put some of the juice in there, that's great too. Not a problem. All right, and then we'll throw our peppers and our jalapenos in there. And almost ready to do it. This salsa is super quick. All right. And this is for a different recipe that we're going to be making in a minute. I was just getting it all ready. Okay, and on this, I really don't measure anything much in this recipe. However, pay attention to your onion. If you do get more than half a cup in there, I just think it doesn't taste as good. So try to keep it half a cup or less. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to slice it up super thin because we're going to put it in here anyway. So I just kind of do a little bit here. Same thing with the jalapeno. And let's see what else I don't want to forget here. Oh, and the cilantro. So I just buy a big bunch like this and I wash it really well. And then I just pull off basically just about that much. And chop it up just a little bit. Again, you're going to put it in the food processor, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think it tastes well actually without the cilantro. I know there's a lot of people that don't like cilantro, like my friend Katie, but this one I think really does need cilantro in there. And so, oops, you can't see because I'm doing it on the side. All right, so I have put pretty much everything in there. All right. And you could do this all by hand if you wanted, but it's definitely better if you've got a food processor. Let me just make sure I got everything. I get talking and then I forget what I put in there. We'll do the salt and pepper in a little bit. So it looks like that. And you can kind of see how it looks. Super easy. I mean, that's basically it. That's how it is. And then I freeze it into little packs, and there you go. I will salt it a little bit, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt here. But do it to taste. And I do like to add a little bit of pepper. And let's see what else here. All right, so that's what it looks like. Now, here's the secret to making 2 salsas with this recipe. So this is the green salsa, and let's see what I did with that. Oh, yeah. Our family really likes more of the spicy salsa, but if we're having company, then I will take out a little bit like this. And I will have that for the people that like the mild salsa. And then if you are a spicy person, I buy a can of the Chipotle peppers and adobo sauce, which is really yummy. And depending on your spice, again, I would start with 1, but if you know you like spice, then maybe 2 is good. Don't do more than 2. It's probably too much. A little trick for the Chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. Since you only use like 2, what I like to do is I take a baking sheet, put some parchment paper down. I take the peppers and I individually put them out, plop them on the baking sheet, and then I flash freeze it. And then when it's finished, I put them, and these I don't vacuum seal typically, but I put them in a little Ziploc and I keep them in the freezer. And then when I just want 1, I just pull 1 out. So that's what I'll do with this one after the live today. And we will, whoops, oh shoot. Okay, there we go. We will mix this up. And I'm going to put a little bit more in there because those are kind of small. And also I like to put a little bit of the sauce. I forgot to mention that. Because that gives it, the sauce gives it the color. And then you can tell the difference between the 2 sauces. It's not super red, but if you see, this one's definitely more of a brighter green, and this is more of a darker green, I guess is what you'd say. So that's how we make our salsa. That's it. I mean, it's super easy. And move this out of the way for us. All right. The next thing I want to show you how to make. Let me go to the comments here and see what we got here, because I saw some things coming in. Somebody, if you didn't do the permission thing, the link, I don't know who you are. So somebody said it turns out that liking or not liking cilantro is genetic. I forgot. I have heard that before. And Judy, let's see. Judy said, I've always wondered about the proper way to use cilantro. How much of the stems have to be removed? The video answers that question. I think it depends too on what you're making, but I tend to not use the stems too much. I tend to use just the top part. All right. Now we will get back to our guac. And this guac recipe actually is a very old recipe that I got. I used to teach special ed in Roseville, California. And one of the assistants that worked, we used to work with autistic children. One of the assistants, Carrie Smith, gave me this recipe, and I've been using it ever since. It's probably been over 20 years. I love this recipe. It's just great. So let me show you how to do it. So you take an avocado, and you can adapt it. I just usually I start with one, and then depending on who else here. And do that. Oh, one thing I want to say that I know that somebody, my mom, I think the other day, my mom freezes avocados. I'm not a big fan of freezing them. However, I will leave them on the counter till they're almost ripe, not quite, and then I'll put them in the refrigerator. And then when I'm ready, they're usually pretty ripe. Or you could do it the other way, where you can put them in the refrigerator and then a couple days before take them out and put them on the counter. But that's a good way to keep them. If you keep them on a bowl on the counter, then unfortunately they go bad pretty quick. So we're going to take the stuff out of the guacamole. And a little trick too. Sometimes I feel like everybody knows this, but just in case you don't, when you're making guacamole, if you leave the pit in the bowl, it'll keep the guacamole fresh. And another little trick too that a lot of people don't know. Actually, that's in my book because I know a lot of people don't know that. Besides keeping the pit in, if you only need half of a guacamole, just cut it in half, and then if you vacuum seal the rest of the avocado, then and keep it in the fridge, it'll keep for sometimes 2 weeks. If you've sucked all that air out of there, the oxygen is what causes the avocado to turn brown. But if you use a vacuum sealer and you keep it in the fridge, you keep your avocado in the fridge all packed up nicely, it'll last for a long time. So it's a good little tip. All right, so we've got our avocado mostly mashed. And let me grab my cutting board back. And I use just a little bit of onion, not too much, but just a little bit. I like red onion, but you can use whatever you like. And I'm gonna cut this up. This one you do wanna do finely because we're not using a food processor, so. All right, there we go. And then I like to put in 2 cloves of garlic. I think my garlic is getting a little old. There we go. One little bit more. All right, and we need a garlic press. I really like the garlic rockers. If you haven't seen them, they work really well. So you just put your garlic down. If the piece is a little big, you can cut it a little bit. And we're just gonna rock it back and forth. And you can do most of the cloves. You don't have to take it off the rocker yet. And we'll cut this one a little bit. Just makes it easier. And like that. And if you don't like garlic or not too much, you obviously don't have to put that much in. And then you just scrape it. Actually, that looks like a lot. I think that's all I'm going to put in there. All right, and we'll mix this up. Now on the recipe, I have tomato, and I do like using regular tomatoes. However, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and our tomatoes aren't that great until summer. So the tomatoes that taste the best in the rest of the year are the little baby tomatoes. They look like this. So that's what I tend to use, but you can feel free to use regular tomatoes. So let me see what I did with my knife. Oh, there we go. All right, we'll put that over here. And I just cut them up kind of fine. Small pieces. If you use a serrated knife, it works a lot better for tomatoes. Just like that. And I really just kind of eyeball it. You can kind of see how much tomato. I probably would add one more. Let's add one more in there. But it's up to you, like whatever you like. That's the main thing. If you like tomatoes, put it in. If you like cilantro, you could put cilantro in here as well. All right. So that's pretty much it. Now, if you thought, well, this doesn't look like enough, I think we're gonna need more, then you can go ahead and add another avocado at this point. And you could add a little bit more tomato and a little bit more garlic. You can do it that way. You can eyeball it because some avocados are bigger and some avocados are smaller. But the secret of this recipe, and this is the one that Carrie, my friend, did, is sherry. On the recipe, I think I have cream sherry, but you can use dry sherry. It doesn't matter. Just a little tiny bit. You don't need much at all. I don't even use. It looks like I'm going to use a spoonful, but I'm not. So just like maybe teaspoon, half a teaspoon. Try it out and see what you think. But that's what makes this recipe so yummy. And of course, you could add jalapenos in here if you wanted as well. Oh, and I do add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And there it is, ready to go. Now, another trick with the guacamole. Now, it's not as good, so if you're getting ready to do it for a party, I would make it like 15 minutes before your guests come. But you could also vacuum seal this as well into packs and keep it in the fridge, and it would keep very well. I just tend to make it right before the guests come. But I am going to put some saran wrap on here just because I don't want brown guacamole later. And that is it for the guacamole. All right. Now, let me see what questions we have here. Oh, hi, Jennifer. I see you. Yay. And Judy liked my tip. Never thought about vacuum sealing the other half. Yeah, I don't know. I decided to do that one day, and it's just like, wow, it really made a huge difference. I mean, it makes sense. You take all the air out, and it doesn't like air, so that makes a lot of sense. All right. I will be right back. I forgot to grab the sour cream, so not too far. All right. I'm back. And let me grab a little bowl. Now we're going to make my spicy sour cream. I've actually been making this recipe for a long time, but I've varied it up a little bit. I like to, well, before I was into skinny stuff, I would use regular sour cream. Now I'm using the light sour cream. And it doesn't matter how much you put in there, just however much you want. I'm just going to put a little bit like this. And then I like to use my homemade Chipotle seasoning, which the recipe is on the website as well. But I have also started using the Casa M chain reaction spice, which is great. And if you don't have this already made up, this is a great thing to have on hand. And so that's what we're going to put in here today. And it comes in like the tin size, or it has like a little plastic container. And so I'm going to do that. Now, the other day I made it, and I put in 1 tablespoon for about that. That was a little, they have 2 different ones, actually. They have controlled and uncontrolled. Actually, this is the controlled. So this one isn't as spicy, so I could put in 1 tablespoon of this and it'd be fine. If you get the controlled, though, you might start off with like half a tablespoon and then go from there. And then you just mix it up. And it's great on tacos, on especially like fish tacos. It's great. It's great as a little dip too. I mean, although it's kind of a lot of sour cream, but it's great as a topping on like my adobo turkey sliders. It makes a great condiment for pretty much anything you want a little spice. And that is the secret. And this one is not on the recipe. I am working on getting that on the recipe, but on the website, but I haven't done that quite yet. So anyway, let's see. So we've got our, and you can tell this one. So this one I took out earlier this morning from the freezer. You can tell this is the spicier one because the other one is so fresh and green looking. See, can you see the difference? This one looks almost like the guacamole, but this is obviously the mild one and this is the spicy one. So all right. Well, wow, 34 minutes. I had no idea how long it was going to take me. So that's how we make all of our little condiments today. let me see any more comments here. Oh, Judy, let me put that on there. Judy asked, what's the purpose of leaving the avocado seed in the guac? For the same reason, whatever it has, whatever chemicals it has in it, natural chemicals, obviously, it keeps the avocado from turning brown. So that's why you leave the pit in there typically when you serve it. I took it out for the picture, but that's why you do it. It's for the same reason, like you seal it up and keep all the air out. The pit does the same thing. It's like nature's way of keeping the avocado fresh until it gets exposed to air. Let's see. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you all. Oh, there's Mom said, great idea. Oh, thanks for the avocado tip. Great. Well, thank you guys for joining my first live with my new stuff. Oh, let me move this here. There. Now you can see me a little bit better. So hopefully you like all the different scenes. We can use this one. We can do overhead without the little bubble. And then I have the little bubble. And I think, yep, I have a split screen too, which is kind of neat. So I can be cooking and then you can see me a little bit bigger. So if you don't mind, in the Facebook group, tell me what you liked about the video and tell me what you didn't like about the video and let me know. And that way I can improve for next time. So thanks so much for coming today. I appreciate you all being here. You guys are my big fans. So thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.